The 2-1 Vikings take on the 1-2 New Orleans Saints in London, and it's going to be an early one, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Don't give a damn whenever the Vikings play. I'll be at the TV. For the Vikings defensively, the big mystery here is who's going to play at quarterback for the Saints. Jameis Winston, who right now is dealing with injuries to his hip, back, and ankle, said yesterday that he plans on playing in Sunday's game. Now, he did not practice today, but offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael said that he's hopeful that he'll practice tomorrow on Friday. If Winston is not a go on Sunday, their options left are Andy Dalton and or Taysom Hill. And I say and or just because even though Dalton, if he ends up starting, Hill will still get his couple of snaps where he does his Tim Tebow-like runs, although Taysom Hill right now is on the injury report as an LP, so who knows if he even plays. But if Winston ends up playing, we're talking about a guy at this point in his career, 8th season out of Florida State. We're talking about a guy, he is who he is. For every good play that he makes, he'll follow that up with an oh no play. This is the week that the pass rush needs to come back to life with or without Zadarius Smith. Their offensive line struggles to pick up the blitz, so Ed Donatel, bring the house. Also, I was today years old when I discovered that Wyatt Davis, former Vikings player Wyatt Davis, is now a member of the New Orleans Saints. Third on the depth chart, just like in Minnesota. A turnover-prone quarterback paired with an offensive line that can be got should set up opposing defenses for success. And unfortunately for the Saints, the injury bug goes beyond Jameis Winston. After Michael Thomas, who's a DNP, you've got left guard Andrews Pete, Jarvis Landry, right tackle Ryan Ramczyk, Marcus May at safety, Taysom Hill, Paulson Adebu, Alvin Kamara, all LPs for Thursday. They might have a whole new-ass team on Sunday consisting of Bishop Sycamore players. And before today, while I thought to myself, I'm not worried about the Saints, the more that I think about it as it pertains to if Winston does not play, Andy Dalton, if he had to play 17 games, you're looking at a top 10 pick in next year's draft. But can he, Andy Dalton, put it together for one game to where the Saints are competitive offensively? Yes, he can, especially with a receiver like Chris Olave, who only gets better with each game he plays. Went off against Carolina for 147 at his best when he's towards the sidelines, whether it's the screen passes or the vertical plays, the outside posts. The Vikings are a bottom 5 team against the pass. I do not like this at all. In the passing game, Chris Olave has to be your primary focus. If Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas, if they're able to go, it's only going to get worse. The secondary will be tested. I'm looking at you, Chandon Sullivan. The way that he tried to run after Amon-Ra St. Brown on that 4th down play was pathetic. But if you could get a pass rush, that could very well make up for it. Now, against the run, the key guys to look out for are Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Taysom Hill, 2 of which were LPs in Thursday's practice. But defense as a whole, corners, play tight, Ed Donatel. Nothing stopping you from having your corners press up. Against the run, linebackers, cover the gaps. Eric Kendricks, this could be a big game for him. Now, for the Vikings offensively, they're up against the 13th ranked defense, and that's because their secondary is legit, led by the Honey Badger and Marshawn Lattimore. But in the trenches, Brian O'Neill will handle business against Cam Jordan. You remember the 2019 playoffs? Jordan got on Rich Eisen's show talking shit. O'Neal took that man to church. And I get that it's any given Sunday, but this specific matchup, no. Brian O'Neill is one of the best right tackles in the game. Spare me. And Marcus Davenport versus Christian Darrisaw. Listen, man, the Saints through 3 games so far have 4 sacks on the year, tied for 4th worst. And the Vikings offensive line is now an asset. So if the O-line can stand up the Saints D-line and give Kirk Cousins time, I know their secondary is nice, but to give this passing attack time to work with, that's not what you want. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, their star wideouts, I think after the end of this season, KJ Osborne, he'll make a case for being one of the best wide receiver 3s in the league. But to be honest, you may not even have to go pass heavy against their strength. Why necessarily do that? Because I think you can really go at this team on the ground. Dalvin Cook, I would rest him for this week. Let the rest of your running back group go to work. Now, also make sure that you account for Demario Davis at linebacker. That dude is nice, but I think the Vikings offense, they get it done. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints offense makes it interesting. I'm going to say the Vikings win this game, final score 30-27. And now reading 3 comments from the last video and responding to them. At some point, I'm going to have to come up with a name for this segment. We're going to start with Smitty Werbin. Every good offense or defense needs rookie contract guys who play well. That's why the offense is scary. JJ, KJ, Darisaw, Madison are great contributors to our success. On defense, we have Dantzler and Bynum who are solid, maybe good, but that's it. We need more youngsters to push the defense. And as I said on yesterday's video, you have 2 rookies that are ready to contribute right now, but so far have been riding the bench. 1 snap combined between those 2 players. Brian Asamoah, I'm not saying he should start, but he should at least be on the field in passing down situations. His energy is so infectious that it would easily rub off on the rest of the team. He is so dynamite that he will easily end up on SportsCenter top 10 at some point this year if you give this man a chance. And Lewisine, I think he should start. There's no reason why we are now going into week 4, and if Josh Metellus starts, and he's been fine, Metellus has been, and if Hitman is healthy, still, this is your first round pick. There's no reason that he should not be ready to start going into week 4. Next comment is by Prime Rib. When are you going to make a video apologizing? Let's call it the Ode to Bradbury, top 6 center in the entire NFL per PFF. And we all know PFF is your homie. Yeah, I don't care about anything that PFF has to say. And for the record, I've said this several times, but for those that are new here, when I first started this channel, early on, I did what I thought I was supposed to do, as in if the Vikings sign for a player or if they trade for a player, I would say, hey, this player is good or bad because look at his PFF grade. And then finally, and I'm only speaking for me here, something just clicked in my head to where I said, this is lazy. Anybody can do this. Watch film on the players and come up with your own opinion. Who the hell cares what PFF has to say? But to your point, Garrett Bradbury has been very good this season. I got to give him his props. It's almost the reverse of Matt Khalil. Matt Khalil, his first year, he was very good. Pro Bowler. Oh, man, this is going to be great. And then he sucked the rest of his career in Minnesota. Actually, for the rest of his career in its entirety. But it's the opposite with Garrett Bradbury, to where his first 3 years out of NC State were horrible. Assuming his final year, his 4th year out of NC State, he's very good. Now, with that said, for a guy that has played well, assuming that he plays well for the rest of this season, for a guy that plays well 25% of his career, no, the Vikings should not re-sign him because we have 3 years before this season to say, I don't know if this is sustainable, what we're seeing in his 4th season. And lastly, the last natty, there is no way Thielen's leaving. He's the Fitzgerald of this team. That would be a riot. I get it. He's a Minnesota guy. He's been on this team forever. All the plays, the memories that he created, 19, we will always cherish them, and that's going to be great. However, the Vikings, they have an out in his contract after this season. If the Vikings do absolutely nothing, keep in mind, Justin Jefferson, he's going to get a contract. They're going to have to make some tough decisions on this roster. If the Vikings do nothing to his contract, Adam Thielen next year has a $20 million cap hit. That's not going to happen. I honestly think he's gone. This video has been brought to you by Modest Brewing. Right now, they've got 21 selections to choose from, including, if I were in the Twin Cities right now, I would be all over that triple orange smoothie sour. Open 7 days a week, located at 505 North 3rd Street in Minneapolis. And for a chance to win a $25 gift card to Modest Brewing, send me a tweet with the hashtag Modest Take with your score predictions for Sunday's game. I got the Vikings winning 30-27. I want to hear yours. We'll announce a winner selected at random tomorrow. We'll say noon Central Standard Time.